بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الشمس والقمر بحسبان.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. This is Kamaruddin from ICOUK. Recently, I sent a table of data with 6 months of 29 days citing, and the remainder was 30 days to a lot of scholars. And some of them has come back to me saying, can you explain this data on this table, please? So I decided to make this video so that inshallah ta'ala, it will benefit a wider audience. So I'm going to speak in a number of parts. First, I'm going to give you the background to this data. Secondly, I will explain the labels used on the table of the 29 and 30 days month. And third, I will explain the data behind those dates or table. Fourth, I will try to answer some misconception about the UK days count. And finally, I will show you how to access all this information on our website. So part one. The background of the ICOUK is we started moon sighting in UK in 2008. I was doing moon sighting since 1998, and after about 10 years of my research with International ICOUK organization, I met Sheikh Suleiman Ghani, who suggested we should revive the Sunnah moon sighting in the UK. So we started that project, and we inherited the sighting zone for historical reason that is between UK to Morocco, as we had a number of fatwa from major Darul Ulums. After a lot of efforts of emailing a lot of people, we managed to get about 20-30 people who would do the sighting every month. But we were only seeing it a few times on the 29th, and remainder we didn't see. So when we asked people to go out to look for the moon, and they said, we don't know how to do that, so give us some training. And now when we wanted to show them where the moon is, it's no point looking on a day when the moon is not on the UK horizon. So we decided that we will look for the moon 2 days, that is 29th of the regional calendar plus the next day. And that way we would be able to explain to new trainees how to find the moon, and they will be convinced when they see it. And to encourage that, we also started spotting moon competition. So after about 3 years of data, some people said that since we fulfill the Sharia condition of 29 and 30 days, what's the point of looking for the moon on foreign date? Let's just follow our UK, because that is closest to the hadith, to begin first by sighting and end by sighting. When I consulted some local ulama, they said we have existing fatwa to follow different countries. We need to write back to them and get their review on this issue. And that's why in 2021, we wrote to all the major Darul Ulums who previously have issued us fatwa to follow foreign countries. And they gave us permission that since the moon is possible to be sighted on the UK horizon in a reliable way, consistently, month after month, year after year, we should change to UK sighting, UK only sighting. So that's the background. And between those years, we have traveled to many conferences on moon sighting in many countries, and a couple of photos are shown here. Now, let me explain the second part of the introduction. The fatwa was compiled in a booklet of 58 pages, lots of fatwa that you can see, and there is a printed color copy. You could request for that by paying the packaging and posting, but you can download the PDF version from our website. Now, one of the tables that we're going to discuss today is already in this booklet on page 6, which we sent in 2021 to the Darul Iftaz, that was the predicted dates. So we sent 4 years data and then followed by 2 years of prediction, saying these are the dates that we expect to see the moon on the UK horizon, just like we did before. Now, you might be surprised saying, is this some kind of astrology that you are just, sending some jinns to tell you when the moon will become visible? No, this is, we call it astronomy. We know precisely the position of the moon in the sky every moment of time, every day, every hour, every minute, every second. And by knowing its position and how far it is away from the sun and how far it is above the horizon, we are able to predict whether it becomes visible or not. So you can see on this table on the right for 1444, which we are about to complete soon, that these are the dates we published in the book that we're going to see the moon. Now, I'm going to explain the label in the next part. So part 2, explain the labels used on the comparison table. Now, first question is, what is MA? Now, in order to fit the names in the narrow table header, we chose the ICOUK, International Standard Organization Code for countries. So UK, we understand because we live in UK. MA is for Morocco. So you will see gov.uk for UK government website, gov.ma for Morocco government website. You may also see other countries like gov.sa for Saudi Arabia government website. So it's just an ISO code in short form. And the first thing to recognize or note is the viz date. What is the viz date? Right, viz date is short for visibility date. These are the days on which the moon will become visible on the UK horizon, the first day of visibility. So for Muharram Hilal, we are looking on the last days of Dhul Hijjah, and we are going to look for it on 30th July 2022. So that is the visibility date. Now, what is the possibility of sighting? And the code, visibility code, is taken from HM Nautical Almanac Office Yellow criteria, visibility code A, which means it's going to be easily visible. The day before, it was not visible. So that's the visibility code. UK days count. This is not how many days the month of Muharram will have. This is the count of the existing month which we are looking. So the existing month we are looking is that of the previous month. This is the month of Dhul Hijjah, and 29th was not visible, but it was visible on 30th. So it is, UK's count is 30. But one here on Morocco days means that they have sighted the moon on their 29th previous day, so they changed to the 1st of the next month, which is Muharram. But UK didn't sight the moon on the 29th of Dhul Hijjah, so it became 30. So 30 on UK, 1st on Morocco. So you could have 29, 30 as well as 1st in Morocco column, and on UK it will be only 29 and 30. Hijri month, that's the month number for which we are looking for the moon, right? It is not the month that is currently we're in. We are looking for that moon for next month, okay? And Hijri year, this is for each line, we need to be consistent, not get mixed up which year it is in, especially when it's end of one year and beginning of the next year. So this is used in our database for the website to generate the calendar. So this is the explanation of the labels used on the comparison table. Before I move on, I want to point out that L here under this code is low altitude, because we are approaching a special phenomena called lunar standstills, where a few months the moon's going to be very low on the horizon on both 29th and 30th. And then after a few months, it's going to be very high. And the worrying factor is that when it is low, you won't be able to see it from built-up areas. You really need to go out where you can see the horizon down to ground level, not behind some building or mountains. And if we're able to do that, then there's a good chance we will be able to see the moon. And as you can see on month 3, even though it was low altitude and it was difficult to see because it's a cold beat, still we managed to see it on that date. But on the following month, month 4, we found that it was not possible to see because most of the country was cloudy. And because it is count 30 of the month, it did not affect the calendar, it just moves on. Okay, and also you can see on here is a before sunset, a lot of our regular observers are traveling to from work or at work. So that means that depending on the weather, we need to do a bigger campaign to get people out to look for the moon when it is during working hours. And the important point here is that if we count the moon based on our own sighting, we see we have managed to see it 6 times out of 12, because Hijri month is half of it is 29, half of it is 30 days. Okay, ideally it will alternate between 20 and 30, but that is not always the case. Sometimes you will get consecutive 30 days and consecutive 29 days. And you can see we had consecutive 29 days and we were able to see them all, mashallah, all 3 of them. But if we're looking for the moon on Morocco's 29th in the UK, then we don't always see all the 29. And we see that we only managed to see 229 according to Morocco's calendar, because we are looking for the phase of the Morocco's moon on UK horizon, and that's why it is out of sync. If you look for the UK's phase of the moon on UK horizon, then it fully meets the Sharia rule of 29 and 30 days. But if you look for a moon from a foreign country's phase, foreign countries count on your local horizon, there is no guarantee you will see it on the 29. And this is one of the misconceptions that it's not possible to see the moon because we are looking on the wrong date, sometimes on the 28th of the local count. And obviously the moon is invisible on that date. So that explains all these labels. Now let me go to part 3 and explain the underlying data used in the comparison table. Now remember, the 1st of Muharram in Morocco was 30 July on the previous table. Yes, 30 July. How did that happen? Now, look here on 29th July, that's 29th Dhul Qa'dah, 1443. The moon was easily visible on Morocco horizon. So the next day, 30th July, became their first. Okay, first, looking for Muharram, that would be first Muharram. But over here in the UK, it's called CND. It's not visible to the naked eye at all, not even with binoculars, and possibly computerized telescopes, but we don't go to that extent. So it's not possible to be seen by the naked eye or binoculars on code C and D. So that month for UK completes 30. Like the hadith says, if it is hidden from me, if it is cloudy, then complete 30 days. Okay, so that's why we had 30 on the UK calendar for 30th July and 1 on the Morocco count. Okay, so that's the map behind it. And these maps are plotted from the position, lunar positions, as it is known to the expert, each phase of the moon. And this is consistent with the Quran. In Surah Yasin, Allah Ta'ala tells us the moon goes through phases, and these maps shows the visible phase and the invisible phase. Okay, so over here is invisible, over on the left it is visible, on the right it is invisible. So I've already explained on 29 July, UK moon was not seen, but Morocco was seen. So on 30th July, UK became 30 and Morocco became first. Okay, 31st July, UK became first of Muharram because we completed 30 days. And using that information, we can use the calendar. So first of Muharram for UK in 1444 was 31st of July. But first of Muharram in Morocco was a day before. But end of the month, can you see that on 29th of Muharram, which in Morocco was 27 August, and they didn't see it, but UK's 29th was on 28 August, it was seen. So Morocco completed 30 days, UK ended the month with 29 days, and so the next month Safar started together with 29 August for UK, and also 29 August will be here on Monday. So both started on Monday. So that's explaining the underlying data behind those tables. Now let's go to part 4 and answer some misconceptions. Sometimes we don't always see the moon on 29th, and if we keep on completing 30 days, there is a misconception that half the year is 29, and that means 6 months. We might be out by 6 months from the rest of the world. This is a misconception due to lack of practical experience, because the orbit of the moon, such Allah has created, that it is either 29 or 30. Okay, so if we, let's look at real data from 4041. If we missed a 29th day, then it becomes 30. Okay, so 27 December 2019, it was 29 Jumada al-Ula 1441, and UK was cloudy, code B, difficult to see, and December month, you know, early sunset, most people at work, so it is easy to miss, and that's what happened. So Sharia wise, if you don't see it, you complete the month 30, so the next day becomes 30th in the UK. Now look what happens the following month, which is 30 on 26th of January. That month, which would have been 30 if the previous month ended with 29, but then it becomes 29. So can you see that by the end of the month, the calendar corrects itself, it's self-correction, and this can happen on any other month, even on month 11, 29, if we miss that one, the next month 30 becomes 29, and it is back to synchronizing the calendar. So the month never accumulates. And can you also note that in that year, there were only 5 days of 29 and 7 days of 30th year. And this happens in a leap year sometimes. This also happens in other countries like Morocco. We'll look at that later on. And we only saw on Morocco's count only 229, and the rest were 30 or first. So that's explaining one of the common misconceptions, that unless we follow foreign countries, that will be out by many days. No, the phases can be out by a day, but it's not going to be 6 days in a year. That is due to lack of experience. And those who go out, they will experience that the month corrects itself by the end of the month. Another misconception is that if it is very low altitude, then if we don't see it, then the calendar is going to break down. Well, I had to do some research on that. And as you can see on this calendar, This is talking about future. It may or may not happen like this. So on 15th of November is 29th of the month, 29th Jumada al-Ula, 1445. So 15 November 2023, that's next winter coming up. It's code A. We should be able to easily see it, but the moon is going to be very, very low on the horizon, maybe 2-3 degrees, but it will be about 20, 25, 30 degrees far away from the sun. So we should be able to see it with a clear horizon. But supposing combined with low altitude and bad weather and lack of sight as well, it's possible to be seen that we miss it. So that means that that month become 29 becomes 30. So supposing in that case, if that is the case, then 16th will become 30. Following month is also 29. Okay, 14 December, 29. And if we see it, you know, if we miss A, then we probably miss B as well. But supposing we had very good weather and a lot of people out and they saw the moon on that date, that means it would be 28. So 29 prediction becomes 28 of Jumada al-Ukhra. You can't have 28 days month. So what do? So you ask the question to the scholars, to the Mufti Akram, is saying this could happen in any Muslim country as well, in mainland. It's not unique to the UK, that consecutive 29 days. What should we do? So we have fatwa on our website. You can go and have a look. The answer came back is that if you see the moon on your 29th, on a 28th, and you didn't start the previous month by sighting, that means you have made a mistake at the beginning of the month. So you need to backdate the calendar. And if it is Ramadan, you would have to make a qada fast after Eid. Now, supposing the month before that was also completed without sighting, okay, so there is a doubt that maybe this present month that we just cited on 28 could be 30 days month. So as a precaution, if it's end of Ramadan, you would have to keep 2 days qada fast. Okay, this has never happened in my experience, and I hope, inshallah, it will not happen with more community support. So this is a misconception that people get worried about, scaremongering, that we have to go shopping around the world, you know, trying to borrow other people's moon because of the major lunar standstills of low altitude. No, inshallah, this will not need to happen. We can have our own calendar, even if it is an exceptional case. This happens once every 18.6 years. But look, after a few months in spring, the moon's going to be very, very high. You know, instead of 8-9 degrees, it will be maybe 11-12 degrees and stay long time. So we will be able to make up for the difficult moons at low altitude. And then by the end of the year, it all balances out 29 and 30 days. Half the year will be 29, half the year will be 30, inshallah ta'ala. And on our own horizon, you will see 6 times up that time. But if you follow foreign count like Morocco or any other country, you might miss a lot of things. So that was the second misconception. Okay, third misconception, and this calendar is available on our website through our members login. In 1444, this current year, we had 629 and 630 days a month in UK, as well as in Morocco. Okay, based on their own phase of the moon, their own count. You can count the number of 29 days. I put red circle here, or you can go to the website and find out. And if we look at another year, say, let's go to 1440, where we find that UK's prediction was 5/29. But so is the case in Morocco as well. They had only 5/29 and 7/30. So that could happen occasionally. in leap year. But on average, there should be 629 and 630 days. Okay, inshallah ta'ala. I will now go and show you the observation data on our website. That's the part 5. On our website, view observation reports, you will see every year there is these reports. So we'll look for the moon twice. And if we see on 29th or 30th, that's a tick. And if it is, we miss it, then it's a cross. It's not a failure, but it is also one of the calendar rules. If you don't see it, then complete 30. So in this case, we didn't see it on 30th. And we, it is a cross, but the calendar didn't fail. So you will see that on our website. And also, I have compiled past 6 years data as a tracker. So we give the predicted date, and then we see if we see it. So I will show you that in a moment. And also about if we miss low standstills, moon consecutively, what should we do? We have fatwa on our website. These are the questions, and the answer will be there. Okay, so now I have to wrap up quickly now and finish. So this is the summary of what I have explained. The important point is for the past 6 years data shows that UK only criteria fully meets the 29 and 30 days month rule of Sharia, supported by many fatwas. Now, here I should point out there are some people circulating 20, 30 years old fatwa to follow foreign countries. This is being very dishonest, unfaithful. We wrote to all the issuer of the fatwa, like Mufti Taqi Usmani in Darul Uloom Karachi, and Deoband, and Babel, and all others. And their iftar department looked at the old fatwa and reissued new fatwa. So this has been abrogated. So there is no need to look at the old fatwa in the presence of old new fatwa. This is if there is a judgment, legal judgment enforced, you can't go and do something against that. You have to refer it back to the court and let them amend it so that the previous one is cancelled and new one issued. We can't have multiple judgment enforced at any one time. So sending 20, 30 years old video clips and fatwas and things like that is simply being dishonest, because you need to use the current fatwa and come back onto local moon sighting, which is the original position of the Sharia, not the second position, not the third position, not the fourth position. It is the original position. I hope you understand. If not, please get in contact through our website Contact Us page. If this video has been useful, give a thumb up or like, so inshallah we will bring you more of that in future. Jazakallah khair. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.